Hi everyone, Kim here at Olive City Homestead. It is mid-February, gray skies, not too warm of weather. It's mid-50s Fahrenheit today, supposed to be sunny tomorrow, but this can't wait. My carrots are ready to harvest, or at least I think so. With carrots you can never be sure, at least I can never be sure, because they're under the ground. And sometimes I do really well, and sometimes I don't do well at all. One thing I'm super bad at is thinning enough, and I am going to concentrate on doing that better this coming year. But carrots are so worth the effort, and I want to plant a lot more of them in the future. Of course, it's so hot here in the even mid-spring that carrots really need to be a very late fall or extremely early spring or even a winter crop for me here in Zone 9B. Still, carrots have so many health benefits that I have to grow them, and I need to eat them a lot more than I do now. As we harvest the carrots today, I'll talk a little bit about the health benefits that carrots have, because we're all familiar with some, or at least we think we are. We know that they make us see better, right? They're good for our vision. And that's true to a certain extent and in certain situations, but they're also good for a lot of other things too, and they taste delicious. So this is the bed of carrots I'm going to be harvesting today. And I know some of them are definitely ready because I've peeked. And the way you can peek at carrots is to just move away the dirt right at the base of the green, and you can get an idea of the size of the carrot. So this is definitely not huge, but I'm thinking that it's good enough for me. So let's see what we've got here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh, it's like 5 or 6 inches long, and it's straight. That is okay, straight is really good for me. And single, it's not like twisted around another one. I guarantee there'll be some in here that are like that. The thing about carrots that's so great, well, there's so many things that are great, but one of them is the rich color. So I did plant a variety of colors of carrots, and the birds got a lot of them, so I'm not sure which ones actually grew, but here we've got a dark red one. And the thing about that is that they're full of beta carotene. And beta carotene is an antioxidant that's so good for you. It's the antioxidant that is great for your vision. What they're really good for with vision is they help with macular degeneration that some people suffer as they get older, that really breaks down their central vision and makes things blurry as they look straight ahead. The other part of vision that they're great for is another kind of degeneration which affects night vision and low light vision. So that is one great benefit of carrots. Here is another one that looks good size right in here. Yeah. Oh, that one maybe not. Let's see. That one's skinny actually. Look, it's a baby one. It's only 3 or 4 inches. But here's a big one. I can tell by the size of the greens and also at the base here. Let's see. Oh, another pretty dark red one, about 5 inches and kind of fat there. Ooh, I see a big one over here. Let's see. This is, oh, come on, out you come. This is nice soil, real loose. Oh, it's kind of crooked, but it sure looks good. Oh, look, there was one that was in with it that I should have thinned. Now, another thing that beta carotene is good for is our immune system. Beta carotene helps to produce, oh, there's an orange one, vitamin A in your body, which fights off disease. So it strengthens your immune system, the vitamin A. Oh, here's a big one. Well, it's big and fat, but it's kind of short. It's only like 4.5 inches. So yes, it boosts your immune system, the vitamin A that beta carotene helps your body produce. It also, though, helps your body to regenerate new cells. And that is something we can all use. Oh, here's an orange one. Looking good. Get that little baby orange one over there. So what else do carrots do for your health? Well, vitamin A and beta carotene also are anti-inflammatory, which is great if you've got arthritis like I do. Wow, look at that one. It's so thick. Oh, that's going to be great. I'm loving the variety of color I'm getting too. But something else that the nutrition in carrots does for you is give you a lot of fiber. Oh, here's my first forked carrot, guys. Look. It's actually, once I rinse these off later, you'll be able to see better, but there's a third little baby one right here. So it's like tri-forked. That's more like my typical carrots, to be honest. Where was I? Oh, fiber. Yeah, a medium-sized carrot like this one gives you 10% of your daily allowance of fiber. Fiber is so good for you, especially if, like me, you have some stomach issues. Oh, guys, look at this one. It's another one of those short, stubby, really thick ones. Well, I can't say so short. It's about 5 inches long. I'm really being happy here, guys. I guess you'd have to have seen my past carrot harvest to know that this is really good. Here's another one of those. I must say, though, I love the color of the red ones more than the orange ones. I guess just because they're different. There's another one. These were really, right here, planted too close together, but still, oh my gosh, that one is very, very solid. Oh, so these are all orange ones here. Hopefully I'll find some more red ones mixed in. Oh my gosh, it's the creature. Look at that one. That's more like my typical carrot. This is something you could decorate for Halloween, but it won't last that long. If I had little toddlers, we'd have fun making that into some kind of alien. You know, playing with your food. But I don't, so it's just going to go in a recipe. So another antioxidant that carrots have is luteolin. At least that's how I think you say it. Ooh, a red one. That's pretty. Kind of a burgundy. And that particular antioxidant has actually been shown to fight a lot of different kinds of cancer. Look at this. It's so big. Oh my gosh. Loving that. Okay, so yeah, luteolin is a great anti-inflammatory antioxidant that has been shown to fight stomach cancer and even lung cancer and prostate cancer. So, oh, baby orange one. Definite reason to be eating more carrots. So last year, when I was researching the health benefits of various vegetables, a baby, I discovered carrots had something I really didn't have a clue about. They have the ability to help your skin. They can heal wounds and can create a very soft and supple skin surface. And I had never heard about that. And the reason they can do that is because they have things in the antioxidants in the carotenoid family that we're talking about, like retinol, and which I'm sure you've heard of. They put that in a lot of skin products, but this is natural, and I like to do things naturally. So yeah, they have retinol, they have biotin, they have lycopene, all of these ingredients that are often put into skin products come naturally in the carrots. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, I really have to make an effort to grow more carrots and learn how to grow them well. And I'm still in the process of doing that, but I'm definitely improving. And I've had fun experimenting with big carrots and short little carrots and different colored carrots. And of course with cooking, because I do love to cook and bake, and carrots are a great ingredient for both cooking and baking. Now, one thing you might not have heard about carrots as far as improving your health. Now, those are some tiny carrots. See, I did not thin enough here. The thing about thinning, I've always been bad at it, particularly with carrots, is because I'm afraid I'm going to, take out something that could later produce a big one. But that's just not true. When they're too close together, they don't have room to develop. Oh my gosh, my chickens are going to get that baby. So I have learned to be better at it, but it's a process, and I get better every year. One thing that's helped me is growing fruit trees, because when you're growing fruit, you must thin the fruit. Otherwise, bad things happen, like branches break and disease can crop in because there isn't enough air circulation. And the same goes for a lot of our vegetables. So I did well in certain parts of this bed, and other parts I didn't. And those carrots have all been small, like these, when I left them crowded. When I bother to go in and be what I would call heartless, then I get a big carrot like this one that's about 6.5, 7 inches long. A little hairy there in the middle, though. So One thing you might not have heard about carrots that they can do for you is they're great for your heart. Yeah. The same antioxidants that produce the brightly colored orange, yellow, and red carrots also are the ones that are helping your heart. So they like prevent high blood pressure. They help stabilize your blood sugar levels, which doesn't really have to do with your heart, but it's still important. And, you know, those are all good things. And so I need to be aware of that. And I want to make people I care about aware of that too. Oh, here's a monster or two monsters side by side. There's a big one just with a slight fork. And look at this one, guys. You can tell just from the side that it's a good size. Oh my gosh. I think that's the biggest, darkest orange one I have pulled out of the ground so far. It's probably 8 inches long and it is super thick. Next to a baby one that got crowded. Oh, we're almost done with this patch. Definitely more orange than red. Next time, I'm going to try to remember to plant more red ones because I get such joy out of that color when I pull them from the ground and when I eat them. Oh, some baby ones. I've got a few more there to get, and I'm going to end up washing all of these so you can see them more clearly. Are there any other health benefits to carrots? In fact, there are. There's another big one, actually. That antioxidant I mentioned earlier, luteolin, it also helps with memory, which I definitely need help with, and just a general boost to your brain health. It helps prevent cognitive decline, a lot of studies have shown. So definitely this is something I want. I want my brain to stay young and healthy. I want my memory to stay, well, not to stay, to get better. I have, over the last few years, noticed some memory issues, and I've always had a really good memory, so I don't want that to go. So I'm going to be looking into carrots and other things that can help my memory stay strong and my brain. Of course, another thing that helps your brain stay strong is learning new things. Now, here's a bunch of little carrots that have come up. The seeds didn't come up when I planted them, but they're coming up now, so I'm going to leave all those in the ground. I think this is, well, it's either potatoes or parsnips. I'm thinking it's parsnips, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look back and see what I planted here. I think I've got a couple more carrots right over there, and then we can wash these off. Right, girls? They're looking good. The red ones are all buried by the orange ones. So I'm going to take these in the house and I am going to make some lentil carrot potato soup. And it's kind of a combination, if you want it to be, of chunky and creamy because you puree some of it after you cook it and leave some chunky so that, you know, you get a little bit of both. They are looking great, aren't they? The red ones underneath. I'll show you those in just a sec. And there are some of the red ones. How pretty is that? And you know, when you have those brightly colored vegetables like this, that's where all the health benefits lie. In the red and orange and yellow and green. So much goodness and so much deliciousness. Let's go make some soup. So here are all the carrots washed up with their greens cut off. My daughter's going to make some carrot green pesto with the greens, or at least some of them. The rest will go to my ducks probably. But don't these look great? I have all different sizes. I've got little small ones. I've got the medium-sized ones, which range from 3 to 5 inches. And then I've got 6 and 7 inch ones. And I just love the red ones. I'm going to make sure to plant more red ones next time. Only have one yellow one there. But I'm really happy. And now, on with the cooking. So I'm going to add about 2 cups of sliced carrots to my crock pot that already has 5 potatoes in it and 4 cups of water and 4 cups of vegetable stock. Now you can use your own vegetable stock that you've made and frozen, which is what I did. Or you can get a 32-ounce box of vegetable stock, which is strictly vegetables, nothing else added to it. And that's about 4 cups, and that'll work great too. Now, I have only done a couple of the smaller red carrots, and the rest I chose to use orange, and that's because I want to save the red carrots for when I do a stir fry, because the color will be so pretty in a stir fry, don't you think? So that's what I'm going to do with most of the red ones. The other thing is, when you are harvesting a lot of carrots at one time, like I did today, how can you keep them fresh? Well, there's several ways. And you can keep them in your refrigerator for 2 weeks up to a month if you do it the right way. And you can keep them two other ways, which we'll discuss in a moment. So you can keep them in your fridge if you cut the greens off to just leaving about an inch and wash them and keep them in a plastic bag in the crisper drawer. They'll last about 2 weeks. However, I don't really like plastic, so I do it a different way. And this way lets you keep them up to a month in the fridge. And that is to put them in a container with a lid and submerge them under water in that container. And then every 4 or 5 days or so, change the water out. And then they'll last up to a month. Now, there is another way you can do it. If you live somewhere with a cooler climate than me, this is a lot easier because, of course, you can keep them in a cellar or a basement, somewhere cold. If you bury them unwashed, but with no greens on them still, cut those greens off about an inch above the top, bury them in damp sand or damp sawdust and make sure they're not touching. And they will store, as long as you keep them above freezing and keep the humidity up, which is why you want the sawdust or the sand to be damp, then they do really well for longer than a month, for several months, maybe even 6 months. It depends on the temperature, again, how cold you can keep them, but not below freezing. So those are ways you can try. What I do if I can't use up all the carrots within a month, then I blanch and freeze them. And that is super easy because blanching, if you haven't done it before, is simply cutting up the vegetable, because you can do it with other vegetables besides carrots. But with carrots, you cut them up, slice them up, and you put them in boiling water. So have the water already boiling, boil them or blanch them for 2 minutes, and then take them out and immediately drain and submerge them in ice water. And when they're cool to the touch, you can go ahead and drain them. And I like to lay them out flat, single layer on, say, a cookie sheet, and put them in the freezer that way, and leave them that way for 6 hours, 8 hours, even overnight. And then, once they're already frozen like that, pop them into a freezer bag. And you can use an inexpensive freezer bag. That'll keep them in the freezer, say 3 to 5 months. And if you use a more high quality, expensive vacuum type freezer bag, they'll keep 9 to 12 months probably. Although you won't need them that long because you'll have fresh carrots by then. Now you may wonder, why bother with the extra step of freezing them single layer on a cookie sheet? Basically, it's simply for your own convenience, because if you do it that way and they freeze individually and then you put them in the bag, they won't stick together. So then when you go to use them, you can kind of pour out how many you want and pop the rest right back in the freezer. If you put them straight from the point where they've cooled off in the ice water and you've drained them, straight into a bag at that point and right into the freezer, it's likely that they're going to freeze stuck together in clumps, which does not mean that you can't use them or that they're going to taste any different. It's just, like I said, convenience, because you'll have to use that clump all together rather than measuring them out individually. And there are some of the beautiful carrots submerged underwater in a corningware dish, and I'm going to pop them in the fridge now. Remember to put a lid on it. These are going to be so good in a few days when I make a big fried rice dish or two. You can't see it through all the steam, but the carrots are being blanched, and the timer's about to go off, and I will submerge them in ice water. Those are in ice water now, and while they're cooling off, I'm going to take a bunch of greens, this is just about a third of them, to the chickens and ducks. Well, they are really enjoying their treat. I wonder if the ducks will like the carrot greens the same way. I did save plenty for my daughter to make pesto, so we'll see how that goes. But meanwhile, the chickens and ducks need some greens too. I think the ducks are going to enjoy the carrot greens. Probably I should have cut them up a little bit, but they'll figure it out. These ducks are faithful egg layers every day, the 5 of them. And then the black duck, the black runner duck, is actually a male. He takes care of them. You girls enjoying that? You like those greens? Okay, back to cooking. So this pan is lined with some parchment paper. I admit it is not perfectly single layer, but it's pretty close and it'll do. So pop it in the freezer, I go. And here are a few bags of the carrots that I blanched and froze. About a cup in each bag. That worked out really well. I've now added in to the potatoes and carrots and broth, onion, a big yellow onion sliced up, and spices. So I've added thyme, some crushed rosemary, salt and pepper. Some people add a bay leaf to soups like this. I personally just don't care for those, so I did not add that this time. What else have I added? Oh, garlic. Did add garlic. And I'm going to put the recipe that I used today down in the description below. I really don't go by recipes. I just experiment every time and add something a little different. So now I'm going to add in the lentils. I'm adding about a cup and a half, I think. Sometimes I use a cup, sometimes I use 2 cups. Again, it's a little different every time, but today I've added about a cup and a half. And this is looking really good, actually. Now, when it gets to the point that I want to puree some of it, I will take out some of this. This is after it's cooked for 7 or 8 hours. And I'll put it in the blender. I can use a standing blender or an immersion blender, whatever. And then I will pour the amount that I puree back into the soup. So it will be both a creamy soup and a chunky soup, which I like that combination. And it is looking really colorful. I'll be interested to see how much those those red carrots give to the soup once it's cooked. So it's in the crock pot, the ceramic crock pot. I'm going to put it actually into the base now, and I'm going to let it cook overnight. And I will join you back here again tomorrow when it's done, and we'll see what it looks like once I've pureed some of it and put it together. And more importantly, we'll see what it tastes like. So after 8 hours of cooking and cooling thoroughly, this is what the soup looks like. And now I'm going to take 4 cups of it and put it in the blender here. And I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of olive oil to it to help it blend well. Once that's done, I'm going to add the mixture back into the soup so it'll be both creamy and chunky. And then the last ingredient is to add in 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And like I said, I am going to put the recipe down in the description below so you can follow along. But again, really, it's up to you. If you like the flavor of thyme and rosemary as I do, then you can add them. And if you don't, you can add different spices. And if you like your soup all chunky, you don't have to make any of it creamy in the blender. And oh, that would make it a lot simpler. But I like it a little bit of both, so I'm going to do it now. I'll show you what it looks like in just a sec. Now, I'll be the first to admit that color is not too appetizing. But, you know, taste trumps color, right? Plus, I'm going to add something on top of the soup at the end, which will add some color and add some attractiveness to it. We'll see what you think. Okay, time to add in the creamy stuff. Here we go. This took me about 30 seconds to blend up. Okay, so there's an example of what not to do. And I could take that out of the video. I could, you know, pull it out and edit it, but I'm not going to because my channel is very realistic. I'm going to get a spatula and scrape that out, and I've got to dig out my blender blade. I do that all the time. I swear, you think I'd learn my lesson, but nope. There, it's really not that hard to get out, and I just need to get my spatula and scrape that off. So I apologize for any cat noise you've heard in the background. My cats, and I have several, have been going crazy this morning, running around, making all kinds of noise. Sorry about that. But I wanted to add in here that you can make the soup look a little more colorful and appetizing if you use green lentils. I used brown because that's what I had in my pantry, and we like the flavor of brown, but green works just as well and adds a little color. So what I add to the top of my soups to add some color is walking onion, straight from my garden, of course, just like everything else in the soup, pretty much. I did not grow the lentils, but the potatoes, the carrots, the onion, the garlic, all the spices, and now the walking onions you can grow out in your garden. So that adds a lot of tang as well as color to the top of each serving dish. And some people like to use parsley. I just don't personally care for the flavor of parsley, so I use walking onions, the green onion, on pretty much everything as an accent as well as a big bonus punch of flavor. Okay, so now let's add the final ingredient, the apple cider vinegar. That's 3 tablespoons of it, and mix it in, and then put the soup in a serving dish and top it with the green onion, and I'll show you what it looks like and I'll have a taste. In it goes. That looks pretty good now. I'm going to taste it and let you know. Here we go. What does it taste like? Wow, that is so good. You know, oh, the lentils give it that nutty, almost meaty flavor. I'm a vegetarian. I eat gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegetarian. And that is one delicious filling meal. I am going to make that again for sure. I know when people taste things that they've made on camera, you wonder, are they really telling the truth? But I am telling the truth. That is super good. Not every recipe I try and experiment with turns out the way I like. And so I make a big X over it and start over. But this one is a winner. You should try it. And remember, you can always experiment yourself. One of the variations you can try with this recipe is adding half sweet potato and half potato. I don't usually like sweet potato unless it's baked and done a certain way, so I just use regular potatoes with the lentils and carrots. And I also added a little extra carrot than I usually do, and that has worked really well too. So give it a try, guys. Carrots are great for your health, as we discussed. You know, I was just talking from stuff that I know as I was harvesting. It wasn't from a list or anything, so believe me, I'm sure I missed some other health benefits of carrots. They are just so great for you. They're really a superfood. Go ahead and grow them and eat them. So thanks for joining me yesterday and today for my carrot harvest and for cooking the carrot soup. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned a little something. And remember, you can create the garden and the life that you want. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.